I needed to be more in shape before I went to the gym, which is totally absurd.
Yeah.
Totally
My
absurd.
favorite line, I'm going to come to the gym as soon as I get in a little better
Like, how is
shape.
that going to happen?
And I still might coach the Houston Rockets. I've been debating it.
I mean, you never know.
If
You
that-
set your mind to that, and you can do it. Like, fuck motivation, man. Like, if I waited on motivation to get me through all this, there is no way I'd be doing what I'm doing. Like, yeah, motivation gets you started, but discipline is what carries you through.
All right, welcome everybody back. Episode 10, All Roads Lead to the Gym. Chad Dunham here at Indy Fitness with my homeboy, Nicholas Otto Assad.
What up?
And today our special guest is Haley Kraft. Hey, say hey, hi, Haley.
Hey.
Hey, Haley. So we got a lot to talk about today with Haley. Haley is a gym member here at Indy Fitness.
She's on the wall.
She's on the wall. We have posters on the wall of our gym members that have incredible physiques or have achieved big things, or we're going to have a couple contest winners up there soon. But all the posters in the gym are of actual gym members. So without further ado, I don't have a lot to talk about outside of the podcast today.
Same stuff.
Chance
different
couldn't
day.
be here today. Football stuff's kept him away. Without further ado, let's get to talking to Haley. Haley,
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you?
Well,
What's your last name?
Kraft,
Okay.
like the cheese.
Like cheese. I love it. Okay.
So looking back, trying to think about like when my story started, or like for people to try to get like the best idea of like how I got here, like it really needs to start like as I grew up, because I mean I grew up in a small town like 30 minutes away from here,
Where?
Fredonia, Kansas, so not that
Yeah.
far.
Shout out Fredonia.
Yeah. So my brother, I'm the oldest of three. My brother and sister they're like 6 foot tall, and they've always been thinner than me. I don't know exactly what happened, but I'm 5'4" and, short and round. But I can't ever imagine a time in my life where I didn't struggle like with my weight or my self-esteem or my confidence or anything like that.
I felt that.
Yeah. I mean, I was always the bigger girl in school. I got bullied a lot. I mean, I was a fat girl. There was no way around that. I remember like early as like 5th grade trying to like diet, trying to be smaller. 5th grade.
I think that we hear a lot about that these days, and I know there's a lot of kids out there that struggle with weight. I know, and I'm not gonna put his name out there, but one of your kids had some issues where he struggled with. And I didn't really feel like he struggled with weight, but he struggled with the self-esteem of feeling like he was struggling with his weight.
I mean, kids are mean,
Yeah.
But
For sure.
like I said, I remember early as 5th grade just trying to diet and lose weight. I went out for sports, try to stay active. I wasn't real good at them, but I did try to stay active. I wasn't just sitting at home playing video games or anything. I started dating my husband in high school. When I graduated high school, I went straight into nursing school, and I was a nurse at age 19.
Awesome.
Yeah. We moved to Independence here from Fredonia, and where my grandparents lived, and we had some other family who lived here too. And we got married when we were 20, pretty young.
And you're how old now?
I will be 36 in November, so I'm 35 right now. But after 2 weeks after we got married, I found out I was pregnant with Zach, my oldest, and I gained quite a bit of weight.
That's
who
what,
doesn't,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I did have like some some blood pressure issues towards the end, so I had like some extra weight that normally you don't gain. So I gained like 70 pounds, like a lot.
For an 8-pound kid?
Yeah, basically. So, I mean, after you have a baby, you could lose all the weight and more, but your body is never the same after you
Yeah.
have a kid. So I was not happy with my body before I had him, let alone not happy with my body after I had him. The weight ended up coming off, but again, left with a completely different body than when I started. 2 years later, I had my second boy. I was a nurse working night shift. 2 kids, young kids at home, trying to sleep during the day, work at night. Sometimes I didn't have sitters. I was up for like 27 hours at that time.
Rough.
Also, because I worked night shift before, and my eating habits were never as bad as they were when I worked night shift, right?
It's like you can't help it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I gave myself like extreme tachycardia at night, drinking all the caffeine and, you know,
Yeah.
just like
yeah, so
always
you don't get as most nights because your body is not.
not supposed to be up.
But the biology of your body is you are not supposed to be awake overnight. And so you cannot sleep very well during the day. 4 or 5 hours, you're up and you feel like, okay, ready to start the day. And then by the 3 o'clock in the morning when you're at work,
Struggling.
you're struggling. And so how do you feed that? Is with calories.
Yeah.
You want to get a rush of sugar or caffeine, so you eat something from the vending machine. The other thing to point out, too, during those situations, if you're a poor planner like I am,
Yeah, you're hit.
there's nowhere to get,
Graham
before-
crackers and Sprite is like the best thing at like 3 o'clock in the morning out of the patient's refrigerator.
when I was rolling night shift, was before COVID, so we still had 24-hour Walmart.
Yeah.
So you could go there and get something,
Yeah.
but there was nowhere you couldn't pull into Subway and get a protein bowl.
Yeah.
It was closed.
This
Yeah.
was like before Uber, or not Uber, but
Yeah,
DoorDash.
DoorDash
Yeah.
and Uber Eats, yeah. Yep. So you're working at the hospital, you're working nights, you got 2 young kids. How many
Yeah.
hours a day of sleep do you think you're getting?
Not enough. I mean, I would get home at like 7:30. I'd wake up at like maybe 3 in the afternoon, go get my kids. That was like when I did have a sitter during the day. And I mean, that's like waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to start your day. Like,
Yeah, it's a rough
there's
lifestyle.
not a lot of people who do that. Like,
Right.
Did you have to like work those hours to kind of like earn your stripes kind of thing with
Well,
because you work during the day now.
I do work during the day now. I mean, this was at Mercy before they closed. So, I mean, there wasn't at the time a whole lot of like day shift positions available.
Yeah.
So I did have to take a night shift position. I mean,
Was that as an LPN or RN?
RN.
Okay. Well, you made RN at 19 or?
I was LPN at 19 and got my RN at 20.
Wow.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
So it's not that you're not a high achiever, you just struggle with weight.
Yeah. But
I mean, that's quick.
yeah, it is. I mean, usually you'll find like if I set my mind to something, like I do it. But, you know, I got to have that mindset first to
So-
actually do it.
We've talked a little bit before about before Indie Fitness, you had made attempts at other gyms.
Yes. So about that time after I had my second child, I kind of set myself up for failure because I was working like the night shift and not sleeping much. I'm like, hey, let's join a gym. Let's just add to this
Yeah.
chaos. Let's see if I can get my shit together and, you know, lose some of this weight. I joined when it was Cornerstone, and I was trying to do like the Zumba thing. It was kind of fun, but I didn't get to come very much because I worked night shift. I had to be at work at 7, and I think that's like when the classes started or something. But it was pretty sporadic. I did not. I was one of those members who paid for their membership and didn't come.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what?
No consistency.
Yeah. I'm just gonna stop. Cancel my membership. I had my third and final child in 2016, and it was like a year afterwards I started having like some really bad back problems. I got it checked out, and without going like really far into it, it's kind of what inhibits me from lifting real heavy
Yeah.
out in the gym. I feel like I have like a lot of untapped potential that I could do with lifting, but I don't want to have major back surgery in my 30s.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it's one or the other. Like so I found myself age 30. I just turned 30, overweight, not happy with myself the way that I look, still struggling with my self-esteem, my confidence, and this major back problem. And I was like, all right, you're not going to get any younger. You need to try to start getting your shit together. Like, so me and another friend had joined Mercy Health for Life when it was here and open, and we were going like a couple days a week, but we weren't really holding ourselves accountable because, I mean, like she would text me and she would be like, I can't make it tonight. You know, I got this going on, or, you know, I have a headache. And I'd be like, oh, that's so sad. Like, I don't want to go either. Like, I'll just stay at home.
So one thing that I remember that Chad has told me before about like putting, I can't remember how you worded it, and you don't do it anymore either because you come and do your own thing. But how
Putting your fitness in other people's hands.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember
So
what the wording was.
you know, we've talked about this a little bit on here before. Is I don't have a workout partner.
Yeah.
Um,
And you don't.
You
now,
don't
you do
either.
your own thing now.
And-
Tough.
and-
I think it's best that way, honestly.
Sometimes though, it's difficult for me because I do want to try to lift heavy things,
yeah.
and sometimes there's no one here to do it. Like yesterday,
or no one you trust.
yeah. Yesterday, I'm over there and I'm benching, and I get up to 315 and I lay down and I unrack it myself. I have no one there, and my wife sees me and she runs over there, and I do a pause
save
rep.
you.
I do a pause rep and I stop, and then I push. And as I'm coming up, she starts getting nervous because of the pause rep, and she starts. I'm like, you know. Luckily, she didn't grab it, but
Don't touch it.
you know,
Woman.
it almost messed me. Not. Hey, this isn't a knock on Julie.
No.
She was trying to help me.
Yeah. She didn't want to lose her husband to a bar.
Right. But
You're a
that
slow
that
repper.
rushing over and me not planning for her to be there and seeing hands over the top of the bar, you know, kind of threw me
Startled
off
it,
a
yeah.
little bit. So sometimes it'd be great to have a partner, but other times, you know, I know that I just do not want to put my fitness in the hands of other people.
Yeah.
And you know, so I want to talk about something else you said too about setting yourself up for failure. There's a guy that I work with at my day job who would like to get in shape, and he's in, you know, me and him have had long talks about it, and he's in need of getting in shape. But his schedule is such that he comes here at 4:30 in the morning. I tell him that's not sustainable.
It's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, it is for some people, but it's not for everyone.
You do it like what, 1 or 2 days a week, or do you
I
still do
do.
that?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, it was like, I think.
It's 2 days a week.
So you
Yeah.
found a balance in nights and days. Myself, I have to be here Monday through Friday. I have to get here at 6 a.m. or I'm not going to do it at night because it just, my life is so hectic that I have to do that. Luckily, it's not 4:30 because I don't know where I would be if it was 4:30 because getting up at
Still
4:30
sleeping is where you'd be.
rough, right? Yeah. So things didn't work out at Mercy. You and your friend kind of like petered
Well-
out, or what?
So
Petered out.
we were going for like, I don't know, a couple days a week if we could, for, I don't know, 3-4 months. Then COVID hit.
Okay.
And I had that time had already transitioned over to the clinic job that I was working, so I wasn't like knee deep in COVID like a lot of my coworkers were. But I remember sitting at my desk and opening up my email, and it said the gym was going to be closed for like a month or something, and then they would reopen and assess at that time what they were going to be doing next, because this was like when COVID first happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like a month? Yeah, it's like, what am I supposed to do now? And then an hour and a half later, I got a phone call that the schools were going to be closed for the rest of the year. And I'm like, you know what? A month doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah.
Like, so when they finally reopened a month later, it was some ungodly hours, like the 8 to 3:30 or I don't know, something like that. And then you had to wear a mask when you were there working out. I'm like, okay, number one, I work those hours. There is no way I'm going to be able to go to the gym. Number two, I can't breathe with a mask, or I can't breathe while I'm working out without a mask. Like, how am I supposed to wear a mask and work out? Like, that's just not going to happen. So I just canceled my membership and just thought, you know what? I have to focus on trying to get these kids through school, at home, getting through my job, because my job was essential. My husband's job was considered essential. We had a friend of ours who was watching my youngest at the time. She stepped in. She's like, hey, I can help you out as much as I can. My other two went with my youngest. She helped homeschool them. She's actually a teacher now. But it was wild, those times.
Like,
I mean,
It was a wild time
thanks
for
to COVID.
everybody,
yeah, I mean, a lot of people struggled. A lot of kids were kept back in school. I mean, it was just, everybody knows it was a hard time.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like September, October, when the dust had kind of settled with COVID. I mean, it was still a threat. There was still a lot of people who were scared. A lot of people getting sick still, but this gym, Indie Fitness, one of my friends, Corey McCollum, he had posted that he just joined this gym, and he was sharing like the live hit workouts and stuff. And I was like, you know what? That gym's open up 24/7 now. It just took new ownership because I think you guys had just taken over.
We did, yeah. It was like September.
Yeah, and this was like October that he was posting this, and I was like, I need to quit making excuses now. I have a 24-hour gym. I'm going to go. I joined November 8th of 2020. I was coming for a couple of weeks. I was the elliptical girl. Like, I was kind of intimidated by like the open floor concept, the gym, which at the other gym, everything was kind of like secluded. So you had like a place to kind of like hide from everybody if you wanted to lift weights. But I got in here and there was other people and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with these machines. I'm just going to stick to what I know. So I did the elliptical for
So and this may not have been you, but were you one of the sit in the parking lot people and not want to come in?
every day. Every day.
I was thinking that we had talked about that at one point.
Yeah. I mean, I would sit in the parking lot, look in and be like, I really don't want to do this. Like, but I went in.
What did you not want to do?
I mean, honestly, I think it was just pure laziness. It's like, the thinking of going in there and actually having to move your body and like do something other than just exist.
Or anxiety.
Yeah, I was going to say, is any of it, because I know that you talked about anxiety.
Well, yeah, I mean, so I have really bad anxiety. I've never like hid that from anyone. I try, sometimes I make jokes about it, that's just how it is. But like, I mean, that's one of your things. Like when you first start out at the gym, like I said, I didn't know how to do any of the stuff. So I just stuck to what I know, the elliptical. I honestly haven't touched an elliptical in like 3.5 years. Like I haven't even gotten on that thing. I feel more comfortable now, but like the anxiety of just like, I was overweight, bad. I mean, I was like 240 pounds, like, and coming into a gym and just, I didn't want people to see me. I don't know. Like just the thought of like to be more in shape before I went to the gym, which is totally absurd.
Yeah.
Totally
My
absurd.
favorite line, I'm going to come to the gym as soon as I get in a little better
Like, how is
shape.
that going to happen?
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
But I just got done with an elliptical workout, and my friend had showed up. I think it was like a Monday night, and my friend who had posted, Corey, he came here for HIIT, and he's like, hey, why don't you come back there? And at this point, I think they're looking for people to go back there because it was...
They as in him.
Yeah. And they're like kind of, combing the
shame,
gym. Yeah, kind of like, hey, there's not a lot of people back there. Now's like a good chance for you to go back there. And I had just finished the elliptical workout, out of breath, sweaty. And I was kind of joking, kind of not, but I was like, if I go back there and do that HIIT workout, I'm probably going to die.
Yeah.
And
Kind of joking.
yeah, kind of not, kind of. Chad, my first conversation ever with Chad was he overheard me saying that. And he's like, I'm a paramedic or an EMT or something like that. I know CPR. You'll be fine. Basically,
Yeah.
like, suck it the fuck up. Get your ass
Yeah.
back there and try it.
So aggressive.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, I don't want anybody, my paramedic friends, to think I said I was a paramedic. I was an EMTA.
Well, that's what I said. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't,
I
I
was
couldn't
an E-
remember
just-
what you said,
Hey, I
like
just
an
don't want
EMT or.
I just want to make sure that one of my friends watches this and say, he wasn't a paramedic. No, I was
Yeah.
an advanced EMT. But
Well, it's been a while.
and I
can't
think
remember.
you smarted off back like, well, I'm a nurse.
I did, and you had said, like, well, if you're
can't-
dead, you can't do CPR
Yeah.
on yourself. I'm like, okay, well, I've already embarrassed myself. I might as well just go back there and embarrass myself some more, you know. So I did hit. I didn't die. I felt like I was going to die, but I didn't. I like the fact how you come to the gym. Someone's already thought of all this workout that you have to do. They've written it down. They showed you how to do the exercises.
Bumping music.
You don't even have to pick your own music. You just work out for 1 minute, rest 25 seconds, go to the next one. I mean, you can do anything for a minute. You can hold your freaking breath for a minute. I mean, like,
Can you?
I used to be able to.
We'll video her later and see if she can do it.
Turn around.
46 seconds. She's like, ah.
I said I could hold my breath. But, you know, that's one of the things I liked was I didn't have to think to go back. Like, I didn't have to walk in, know what I was going to do. Like, someone already thought of that for me. And it was included in the membership. I was like, all right. But you could also go at your own pace, and you can modify things if you wanted to, which was really
Yeah.
helpful at the beginning because I was not athletic at all. Like, I was 240 pounds, not the good 240. I mean, like, I was
Not the good.
not the I was the bad 240.
Oh, shit.
But anyway, so I started coming. I think you guys had hit 3 days a week.
We
didn't
did
you?
for a while, yeah.
Okay.
Was it,
Well,
were the instructors just, I mean, who did it those days?
I think it was just Chad.
It was me every time.
Yeah.
3 days a week?
3 days a week.
Yeah, and I don't think
And
Shane took
fighting
over
crime.
for a long time. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, fighting crime, 3 days a week, fixing repairs, dealing with customers. Okay.
And it was me, Julie, and our son Miles.
Yeah,
That was
just
the only
running the gym.
employees. Yeah, we were working every day. So, you know, the must be nicers, like,
You know, like,
I heard a quote the other day. It said that I can't remember exactly, but everyone wants to have what you have, but no one wants to do the work it took for you to get it.
exactly.
Yeah.
My bad. I didn't mean to.
No, it just that
No.
made me think of that. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, so I was trying to come a couple days a week. I mean, keep in mind, I have 3 boys at home. They're, we were still dealing with homeschool at that time. We're just busy life and things like that. I did add a Sunday afternoon into that because at that time the gym was pretty like desert. Or there
Yeah,
was nobody
mellow.
here on Sundays, and I was like, all right, now's my time to get in there on Sundays and do some of these like things out there on the floor that I didn't want to do in front of other people.
Yeah.
So I was coming maybe like 2 to 3 times a week. I try to get my nutrition in check, and I was trying to do like no carb and just like the Atkins or whatever it is. And that's like
keto type.
yeah, keto. And I mean, props if it works to anybody, but I mean, it works. You eat nothing but, like meat and vegetables, like you're gonna lose weight, but it's not sustainable. Like, it's too restrictive for me. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I was basically like losing the same 5 to 6 pounds over and over again because I'd like do really good for like a couple weeks, and then I'd start falling back into, just not doing good. But in that next July, my grandma, who was in her 70s, who was like a mom to me, passed away. 10 hours later, my father-in-law, who was in his early 50s, passed away.
Was it COVID related stuff or no?
No, neither one of them were COVID. So we had these two significant people in our lives who had just passed away. One, early 50s, he had so much life ahead of him, and one, in her 70s, and she wishes she would have had a whole lot of life ahead of her. And what I mean by that is, towards the end, my grandma, and I say this with, I love my grandma as,
Yeah.
Number one.
number one. I just want everyone who listens to know that. But she was a larger lady. She did have a lot of health issues. Her mobility towards the end of her life was very limited, very restricted. She couldn't even enjoy the smallest things. She always talked about like things she wanted to do in her life. She wanted to go see the ocean. I mean, she wanted to visit some of her friends. She wanted to go visit some of her family. Like, even down to, she kept talking about how she wanted to go get a new bedspread and curtains for her house. Like, just the simplest things, and like things that we
like
do.
mountains to her.
Yeah, it's just like everything that little things that we do during the day. It's like we don't think anything of. Like, those were on her to-do list, and she just never got to it.
Based on weight
Or mobility or time. You know, like we have time. Or the one of the things that I say to people is, people wanting to do like go on vacations or go do something. It's like, go, because you can always get more money, but you can't always get more time.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of your life, it really hit me, because at the end of my life, I want to look back and I want to say that I did the things that I wanted to do. Yeah. I lived the life that I wanted to live. I wanted to live my life with no regrets. And it really hit me. So one of the things that I always wanted to do, and that I felt would make my life a lot happier, healthier, was to be happier and healthier. I wanted to lose the weight. I wanted to get more confident. I wanted to have better self-esteem. Like, I wanted to do all those things. So I sat down, I made a list of goals, and some of the goals were like, most of them were weight related. I mean, it was like, get to 215, get to 200, get under 200.
I remember this list of goals now. I forgot all about it.
Yeah. I mean, I shared a lot of my stuff on Instagram. Like, I posted some things on my Facebook, and people were getting, like, I had some people unfriend me, I think, because I just feel like I wasn't really bragging about the things that I was doing. I was like posting some, updates. And I don't know if that was the final straw for people or not, but you know what? I don't like everybody, and not everyone has to like me. So that's fine.
I mean, you can't be responsible for how
I make other people feel.
Right.
But so I started to like mainly post things on my Instagram. In the middle of all of this, mind you, my Instagram got hacked and I had to make a new Instagram. But anyways, so I made these list of goals. A lot of them were weight related, but some of them weren't. So they were like, run a mile without stopping, do a pull-up, get into the 500 club, get into a certain pant size, run 2 miles without stopping. Like, there was things that weren't just weight related, because weight, although it's important, is a number. Like, there's other things that you should be looking at in your health and fitness journey than just your weight. There was a couple of months that went by that I wasn't really able to get into the gym and like really apply myself, because we had 2 people in our lives, everyday lives, who passed away. We had funerals to attend. My father-in-law, he was single. He lived by himself. We had to clean out his house. We had to figure out what to do with his personal belongings, his vehicles.
It's a lot.
It was a lot. My grandpa, he now lived alone. It was, a lot of our free time was spent doing other things that had a higher priority at that time. Like, I came in here when I could. I mean, it helped me with my mental health and my anxiety and trying to get things, off my head or off my chest and stuff. But there was just a lot of time that I wasn't able to come in. September, I feel, of that year, I finally got back into the gym. Things had kind of like settled, and I was back into my 3 days a week. There was one day after HIIT, Chad had come up to me and he's like, "Hey, I want to do this gym wide like weight loss challenge at the beginning of the year, kind of like a New Year's resolution thing, but I'm not quite sure how to go about it. So you wanted to use like some people as like guinea pigs, basically trying to figure out like
You're a guinea pig.
yeah, like okay, so what's the best way about like do we do measurements, weight, like do we do like support group, like what do we do?" So
I just want to say though, like me, you, a few others, we became really close. Like this wasn't
No,
like
yeah.
I just walked up to a stranger at the gym. Like by this time, we had become, I would
Oh,
say, really good friends.
well, yes,
It
I mean
seems
like,
to have that effect on
it
people.
does. I mean, like when you're in at that time, it was a pretty small group of people. I mean, when you're seeing those people 2-3 days a week, like you become friends. Like you meet people,
When
you
you-
become friends with people that you don't normally come friends with.
When you work the amount of hours we were working, your friends are the people that
Yeah.
you see. And
Yeah.
the people that I saw was Haley and Jeff and some others that, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess I should have made that clear. Like, he didn't walk up to me and like, "Hey, you look like a good person to like do a weight loss challenge." But he knew that I struggled. I mean, I think I made it apparent that I always struggled with
Well,
just
before
looking at me. You could tell I struggled.
before we really get to that, we also we would do HIIT, and then there would be a group of us walking around the buildings,
yeah.
like just like steady state cardio. It wasn't fast, wasn't
Yeah.
super fast, it wasn't intense. But what it was therapeutic at times because we could talk and get
Yeah.
to know each other. And
Of course.
like I knew a lot of your insecurities. One thing about that I feel like I'm good at is putting my insecurities out there. And when I put
Quick.
mine out there, then other yeah, but then that allows other people to feel comfortable
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
tell me what their insecurities
You
are.
just
so.
you relate to it, and
Yeah.
you're more apt to tell your problems
Right.
and things like that. But I remember you asking me, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I got to do something. Like, sure, I'm in. I started looking at different ways to modify like my eating and things like that because the keto thing does not work for me at all. I looked into calorie deficit. I had the whole time that my whole life I struggled with weight. I never really done like watching like counting calories or like macros or anything like that. And I thought, well, seems like a scam, but okay, I'll try it. But so me and you as Chad, and then Jeff did it with us. And I feel like there was going to be another female that did it with us, but they backed out for some reason.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't
It's
remember
long.
it either, but it wasn't supposed to be just the three of us. But we got before pictures, we got measurements, we did our weight, and then we started like this little group chat, and we try to like held each other accountable. And
What are you eating?
basically, I mean, like we would go throughout
that
the
down.
day, and like I would take a picture of what I was eating or like my workout for the day. I was pretty spot on. I was like, that was my diary. I mean, you could probably even go back now and like just like a food diary of Haley,
Yeah.
like what she ate for a couple months. But Chad and Jeff were kind of sporadic in there. Jeff really no, but Chad, he'd post in there and I'd be like, where the hell are your vegetables? Like,
Yeah.
I gave him so much shit. Like,
Oh, yeah,
why
we
are you
would-
eating just meat? Like,
Yeah.
no, we can't do this.
We would take
Yeah.
pictures of our food and put it in this group chat.
Yeah.
This is what I'm
shit.
eating today.
There was one day you sent a picture and you're like, hey, Haley, look, I actually am eating like green beans or like a salad or something. Like, there is green on my plate. I just wanted to let you know.
Not a big salad guy.
Yeah, but so at the end of that, the winner was just like bragging rights basically, and I ended up winning.
Hey.
Yeah, I lost like 18 pounds or something like that, and I can't remember how many inches, but I mean, you could obviously tell that. I mean, before and after pictures were, I mean, they were pretty good.
So-
Lit the fire though. Lit a fire.
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah. So, the next gym member or the next weight loss challenge came up after the first of the year. It was the gym wide one, so anyone can enter. And it ended up being just weight. I mean, I don't think we did like before and after pictures or anything like that, but I think you recommended that people take before and after. But I ended up winning that one. There was one male and one female throughout the whole gym that were going to win. The winner got bragging rights, and they also got $100.
You won $100
I
from Indie
did.
Fitness?
I did.
Damn.
Yeah, I got a check.
How much weight? I got a check. How much weight did you lose?
I think in total, so I ended up hitting some of the goals along the way. So I did get under 200 at the end of that one, which was cool. I hadn't been under 200
yeah,
and
that was big.
man.
That was a big deal. Gosh, Lee, I had forgotten all this,
Yes.
but I remember like they've been the Mendoza line. That's what they call it. Like if you bat 200, they call it the Mendoza line.
Oh.
And so, or on Biggest Loser, they called it Wonderland.
Yeah. Well, I had basically entered Wonderland for the first time in my life, and God, I don't even know how many years. When I got married, I weighed over 200. Like, I don't think I've weighed 200, under 200 since maybe middle school. And I'm not even joking. So that was a big deal for me. But so I had this $100. Pretty sure I spent it on gym clothes. But I also had this list of goals. And it went from I have this list of goals and I can reach these to I have this list of goals and I'm going to reach these.
Yeah.
Like,
Knocking them off.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. Like, failure is not an option for me at this point. Like, I've already come this far. I'm not stopping now. I dare you to stop, try to stop me, basically. One of the things that I had talked about doing was like a mommy makeover type thing if I ever lost the weight. So it was, I mean, mind you, I'd only lost like 30 pounds at this point. And I thought, you know what? I know how doctors work. I'm a new patient, especially. I'm going to call. I'm going to get an appointment set up a little bit far out. That way I have a little bit of time to lose a little bit more weight. So my anticipation was maybe 5 months or, something like that. And so when I called, she said, well, the soonest we have available is October. This was March or February that I called. I'm like, for the consultation, not the surgery.
So it's like 8
Yeah.
months.
It's like 8 months. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a long time, but okay, I can work with this. So I started to really focus on the rest of my goals. I did lose a little bit more weight, of course, and hit my goals, but early on in the beginning, I was going the 3 days a week. So I was going the hit Monday and Thursday and then Sunday. So I was stuck between I'm proud of myself and I got to push myself some more.
Yeah.
I got to hustle a little harder. I have this consultation coming up, and my biggest fear was I was going to get there and she was going to be like, hey, I know you've lost this much weight, but your BMI is too high to safely put you under for sleep or, for general anesthesia. I felt like if I got there and she told me that, I would have that would have absolutely crushed me. So I kicked it up a notch. I started coming the Monday night, Tuesday morning, before my kids ever woke up, got home in time to wake them up, getting them ready for school. I came Thursday night, Friday morning, and Sunday. So I was coming 5 days a week.
Good stuff.
There was times, which I do now, I still
Yeah.
come 5 days a week, but there was times that we had football games or birthdays or basketball games, and I couldn't come on those evenings, so I wasn't gonna sacrifice my time with my kids, so I flipped that to that morning. If I couldn't make it Monday night, I was here Monday morning.
Well played. Yeah.
I was not making any excuses for myself. I was pushing my body pretty hard. I mean, I was wearing myself thin. I had my kids at home. My husband had just lost his dad a while before that. I mean, it took a toll on him, and you know, I just had life that, you know, things were, I had to deal with. But I woke up one morning and my right shoulder was killing me. I'm like, what in the hell did I do to my shoulder? Like trying to think back the workout the day before, like, did I do something wrong? Did I have like a different form, or, you know, what did I do? And then turns out I stretched my body so thin and stressed myself out so much, I gave myself shingles. So that was fun. Never, yeah. Shingles is normally like something that you get when you're older, not necessarily, but I mean, it only comes out in like times of stress, really. But I just kept going. October came around, and that was my consultation. Well, I guess talking about the goals that I hit, I did lose more weight, and I got into the 500 club too.
You did you had the pull up thing.
I did get a pull up.
2 miles without stopping.
2 miles without stopping. Let's see, I got down to the day of my consultation. I had lost like 60 pounds or something like that. I went in and she looked at me. I told her my insecurities, and she's like, I got you. And I said, are you sure? Like, and she looked at me funny. I'm like, I don't have to lose any more weight. I don't have to do anything else. Like, you're cool doing it, you know, the way that I am. She's like, you put in all this work. It is time, you know, like, let me work now. And so when I left there, I had booked 2 separate surgeries. The surgeries that I wanted, she's like, to be done safely in a timely manner, to do a good job, you have to book them in 2. Like, there's just no way around it. But they were for July. So my appointment was in October, and my surgery wasn't until July. And
this has been a long road.
It's been a really long road. I just remember keep coming to the gym, keep chiseling away at my weight and like my fitness, and trying to, you know, really focus on just trying to stay, like, I didn't want to, I didn't think in my head I was ever going to gain that weight back, but I mean, in the back of your head, it's always kind of there, like
a fear.
Yeah, it's a fear. Like, what happens if I get to my surgery and she's like, this is not the lady that I met with in October, you know? But
yeah. So when we were doing HIT, and I was making the posters of people, and you could really flip a tire, like the big tractor tire.
Oh yeah,
strong, you know. So I'm like, this would be a great poster. And at this point, she had lost quite a bit of weight. Like,
it was, I think at that point, I had already done the second weight loss challenge. So I probably lost about 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah, so we took this picture of her. I took a picture of her and made a poster of it. You know, I asked her what quote she wanted on it, and she's like, I don't have a quote. I don't know.
No, I didn't have a quote.
So I didn't want to just throw a random quote on there. And so I was super proud of my friend and everything she had accomplished. And so the quote that I put on there was, she thought she could, so she did. And, you know, her belief in herself is what flipped the script. Failure is no longer an option, is essentially what you said.
Mm-hmm.
And just talking to people at home who, man, this is probably going to hit some people if the right people watch this episode, which I'm a little bit emotional because you were talking about the loss of your grandma and and my sister's still fresh in my mind. And so, and I know that I made some serious changes a few weeks back after losing my sister.
It really gets you.
It does. And so, if someone's watching this at home, this is what I envisioned All Roads to the Gym being about.
The purpose of the podcast.
The purpose, yeah. This is the purpose. I mean, we've had some great guests who have great stories. You know, Chance, who's usually here, almost a professional athlete, went to a Minnesota Vikings training camp, a mini camp, been to the NASCAR training camp. You know, you got Coach Jay, who's a long time high level basketball coach. You got Hagen Henderson, who's a world class lifter. You got Matt Foreman, who, you know, went to Bud's training, was a high level operator in the Navy in war
I'm
zones.
none of that.
But you are.
And
You
all
are.
of that stuff is impressive, very impressive. But what your situation to me means more just because I have felt those same struggles. There are a lot of people who may watch this who never have an opportunity to go to Bud's training or never get to coach for the Houston Rockets.
I had no idea what Bud's training was until I watched
Me too.
Matt's.
Me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I still might coach the Houston Rockets. I've been debating it.
I mean, you never know.
If
You
the-
set your mind to that and you can do it.
But the thing that you have, the things that you have accomplished, man, they hit hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people
For sure.
in this world, you know, and I feel like that you're going to inspire someone. And if it only inspires one person.
You know, I've had a lot of people along the way. They're like,
Excuse me.
you know, I wish I had your motivation. I wish I had your motivation. And I'm like, I literally look at them, and I don't know if we're allowed to cuss on this, but
You
I
have
I
already.
do all the time.
I
And
guess
you-
I have.
But
I looked at them and I'm like, fuck motivation, man. Like, if I waited on motivation to get me through all this, there is no way I'd be doing what I'm doing. Like, yeah, motivation gets you started, but discipline is what carries you through.
Yeah.
Like, I remember there was one day I heard you say, this is just what we do now. We wake up, we go to the gym at, you know, an ungodly hour in the morning before your kids wake up. Like, I will literally wake up, my alarm will go off, and I'm like, I do not want to go. I would rather just hit snooze and just sleep for another hour.
Fuck that.
Basically. But I'm just like, you know what? This is what I do now.
This is it. This is what we do now. It's like brushing our teeth.
Yeah.
We just do it. We don't necessarily, you know, there are times that I am too tired at night that I don't want to brush my teeth for a minute.
Yeah.
This is what we do now.
Yes.
You have to brush your teeth.
You-
I mean,
you gotta do
just,
it.
You just do it. You take a shower. You sleep when you need to. You
Yeah.
eat when you need to. You go to the gym when you need to, and you need to every day. You know,
Yeah.
there's that and 7 days a week is a lot, but there's the quote that fitness isn't bought, it's rented, and rent is due every day.
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah, and you know, and every day. That's that's
But
just
the choices
generalizing.
that you
but
make.
you're right.
Yeah.
right. The choices that you make in life is due every day, and it doesn't matter what kind of fitness you're into.
Mm-hmm.
If you have dreams, you have to, which we all do. I would hate to meet someone who had no dreams. And their dream may not ever to be in shape. That may not be their dream. Their dream may be doing a hot dog contest, eating
Or
contest.
being a singer.
Yeah. Shout out. But whatever you want to achieve, you have to put in the work. You can't just show up and get it done. And we've talked about before the mentality of children today is because of, I believe, cell phones and social media is the instant gratification. If I can't go to the gym and get in shape in 1 or 2, maybe 3 workouts,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. And I, you know, when we've talked about before how much I love bench press. I love talking about it. It's one of my favorite things. But when I first bought the gym, when I first started working out in my early 40s, when I started getting real serious and getting really consistent and hitting the gym hard, I can remember the first day that I bench pressed 225, which is 225 sounds like an odd number, but that's for lifters. That's 2 plates on each side. The next goal was 3 plates on each side, and consistently lifted 6 days a week. I think that year I only missed 2 gym days, and it took me over a year to get from 225 to 315. So
Which is pretty fast.
Boy, it sure didn't feel fast.
Well, I mean, the
but-
biggest thing is like things don't happen overnight. Like you have to keep working at it every day, or you have to keep chiseling away at, the body that you want and like the goals that you want, because you don't wake up and it just doesn't happen one
Well,
day.
sadly, during that year, I had gained a lot of weight because it takes a lot of food to
Push weight.
to push a lot of weight. And I was able to go on vacation with my family and bench press 315 on Venice Beach at or at Muscle Beach.
Nice.
Is that outside? Is that the outside one?
Yeah, the outside gym.
Yeah.
You been to that?
Yep.
I was there when I was like 10.
By the way, that gym it's ran by the city.
Is it cool?
No. I mean, it's cool. The setting is cool. There's like a chain link fence like you would have in your backyard around it, and you pay like $25 for a day pass. And you
Yeah.
go in there and the weights are, they're right next to the ocean. They're all rusty
Are they?
and crusty and just corroded and dirty and
Everything you would expect.
Sounds like a prison weight pile.
but it was cool though. I mean, that was the mecca of powerlifting. There's been a lot of strong people go there, and there really wasn't very many. I was the strongest guy there that day. Not.
Wednesday at 9:45.
Oh, it was absolutely.
I
It was,
just like-
it was a weekday in the morning, but there was a lot of bodybuilder types there that were very fit. I mean, muscles popping, and they didn't even want to spot me.
Yeah.
I think Miles was like, I don't know,
I got you, Dad.
13, 14 at the time. Yeah, Miles spotted
In a
me
much
there.
higher pitched voice. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I was able to do that, and so that was an accomplishment. But my whole point of saying all that is like, it's the grind,
Yes.
right? It's not.
And you have to learn to enjoy it too, because like me and another female could eat the same diet, work out the same workout, live the same lifestyle, and like at the end we would end up with a completely different body. Like, so you have to learn to appreciate and enjoy the grind, because like it's just something you have to do.
Yeah. Yep. I say that all the time. My 2024 motto: comparison is the thief of joy. I start comparing myself to Hagen's strength or Garrett Steed's strength or Otto's physique or other people here at the gym, and I start to get a little bit envious or jealous. I have to remind myself we're not the same.
Yeah.
Hagen's a freak of nature.
Yeah.
Otto is
Different
a
metabolism.
different body type, a different age.
A product of DOC.
Yeah, I mean, so we're just not the same, and so I have to live within myself.
Yeah.
And know myself, and know that I have to convict myself sometimes. Am I pushing as hard as I can? Are there things that I could do better? There always is, but sometimes there's glaring things.
Yeah, so like when a month before, it was a little bit before my first surgery, I knew I was going to have some recovery time, like some really big recovery time. And I did like a 5K with some people from the gym in Wichita, like the Gladiator Dash.
that.
Yeah. And that was kind of like my last like hurrah type thing before I knew that I was going to be down for a while. But about a month before, I cut out my social media because there was things that I was seeing on there that I was getting discouraged, or I just was spending too much time scrolling, and I really wanted to be more present in my life. And there was just some things on there that were really bugging me. Trying not to compare myself, but comparing myself basically.
Yeah.
I deactivated like Facebook and TikTok, but I kept my Messenger. I think I kept Snapchat, and then I allowed on the iPhone you can set timers on each app, and I allowed myself. I don't know why I picked this number, but 5 minutes on Instagram a day. So like, I'd get on Instagram,
And it would kick you off.
and it
after
just
the-
like, sorry, you hit your time limit, and so I did that for about a month. Try to listen to like podcasts like that would help my mindset, things like that, because I had some really big anxiety about this surgery.
I bet.
I mean, I
Yeah.
was really, really excited for myself, but I have really bad anxiety too. Like, I didn't tell a lot of people I was doing this. I didn't even tell my kids that I was doing it until like 2 days before, because in my head, I didn't want them to worry about it.
I remember us on one of our walks around the building after
Yeah.
it hit, you saying you hadn't told your kids, and I was like, well, they're going to know.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
going to know.
Like, I had
Come
planned
back
on
looking like
telling
a
them.
mummy.
But
Yeah.
I know you thought that you were saving them some anxiety
Yes,
also.
because I just know how I am. But, I ended up telling my kids, and they're, teenage boys, and they're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? That's all? Like, I'm going to be, like, having to recover for, like, 6 weeks. Like, I'm going to be in
Who's going to cook dinner?
basically,
Yeah.
we're like, do we still get food? Like,
Will Dad fold our clothes the
Yeah,
same
like-
because I like the way my clothes are folded?
or can Zach at that time, I think, learned how to use the washing machine, so he didn't even worry about that. But like, I was worried for them. But the day I went in for my surgery, before that, I had started this little countdown on Instagram. So during my 5 minutes of Instagram, I would post, and it was like 10 days before or something, and not a lot of people knew what the countdown really meant, but except for a few people. But that was like, I decided that I was going to go to the gym as much as I could that last month, and I was just going to hit it
remember,
hard,
yeah.
because it was like, all right, I'm spending this money. I'm going to have this time that I'm going to be down. Like, I'm going to make sure she can take as much skin off. Like, I'm going to get my money's worth. And, like,
Yeah.
basically, like, I can sleep when I'm dead mentality. So I came in, I did, like, this fun little gym consecutive selfies. I posted a fun little selfie for 10 days in a row. But the day that I went in for my first surgery was a tummy tuck, breast lift, muscle repair, because I had, like, my muscles had separated during pregnancy. And I had a hernia that I had no idea I had, that she had to repair. But I had lost like 75 pounds that morning. I weighed myself, went in. I had hit every single one of my goals.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And just like...
Did you cry?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I looked at myself and I was like, I'm really going to finally be happy with myself. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how that feels. I've never loved myself. My husband was extremely supportive. My kids were awesome. There was a time, the first week that I had to stay home, I had to stay in bed for a whole week. Justin took off that week because I physically had to be lifted in and out of bed. I mean, he had to lift me up off the toilet because the muscles, like, they had sewn my muscles together, and, like, it hurt.
Rough.
Like, I couldn't stand up straight.
Yeah.
That was kind of rough. The pain.
Chad and Julie went and saw you, didn't they?
Yeah, they brought us dinner one night. That was
Pretty
like,
cool.
yeah,
The
I mean,
gym
like,
owners bringing you dinner.
I mean, where else are you gonna get a friend that, at gym that brings you
Yeah.
dinner? But so a week had passed. I went to my first checkup, and she's like, "Okay, I'll see you in 3 weeks." And I said, "So when can I go to the gym? Like, when can I go back?"
Addicted.
Yeah, and I was like, I couldn't stand up straight. I mean, like, I was all hunched over like this, and I mean, I'd just been sliced and diced and all kinds of stuff. And she looked at me and she's like, "Girl, no, you just
Yeah.
cut open. Like, I respect it, but you need to heal." Like,
And you worked out in between the first surgery and the second, right?
yes. So one of the things I don't know if I mentioned is I had to book it into 2 separate surgeries.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Okay, so it was like 2 weeks of being at home, and mind you, I went from working out 5 days up, like the last month I was going like basically every day,
Yeah.
to working out no days a week. And like, you don't realize how much your mental health depends on you getting here and just like getting that workout in, like seeing, even if you don't talk to anybody here. I mean, like at this point I had already had friends at the gym and like, but just to get here. And like, it was, I don't know, 4 days before my 3-week checkup. And Justin, my husband, was like, just go to the gym, just be careful. Like, you know your limits. I won't tell your doctor. Just go. You have to go. Because I was like mentally breaking down. Like, he knew how much it meant for me. So I would come here and just walk for a little while, and people were like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, like I'm
Like,
walking.
I am walking.
Yeah.
It's like I would be walking at Walmart, except for I'm walking on the treadmill. But I went back, and she's like, "Okay, you're cleared for cardio." So that day I came here, and I had all my compression on. I had to wear like this foam thing under my biter. And I ran like a mile, 3 weeks post-op.
How'd that feel?
It felt really good. I'd look like the Penguin Man doing it with all that stuff on, like, and it was ungodly hot. But it felt awesome, like to know that like my body could go through all of that and still come back and run a mile. Like, to me, that I felt like on top of the world. I was cleared for lifting at 6 weeks, but in my head, I knew that I was going to be having another recovery that I was like mentally preparing for. And when you take 6 weeks off from doing your normal routine, you never, like, it takes you a while to get back.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I got 100% back before my second surgery. My second surgery was taking the loose skin off my back and off my arms. That one, I will say, was rough. The recovery was rougher than the first. I damn sure wasn't itching to go to the gym a week, 2 weeks. Like, I mean, my arms hurt so bad. I mean, just like the nerves, and I had swelling. I had pictures of my hands, like they were just like bubbled up. It's like what comes with the surgery that you get. And it took, I did not bounce back from that surgery as well as I thought I would with my first one. I had some problems with healing on my arms. So in my head, like my surgeon was like, there's a chance that you're going to have a third surgery. You're going to have to, we might have to revise some of that scarring that's on my elbows, like right in here. And
Did you?
I did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So she's like, I want to see how things settle. And then there was an area on my hip because I had so much loose skin. She's like, it's not necessarily like a dog ear or something like that. It just didn't look aesthetically like I wanted. So she was like, you know what, there's a chance. Just, be prepared for that, but we're going to give it some time to see how it is. But for the first time in my life, I looked in the mirror and loved what I seen.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's big.
Was, I went in, I remember going into a dressing room and getting clothes that I liked and loving everything. Everything. Like, I left stuff in the dressing room not because it didn't look right on me or it didn't fit me right or it didn't fit me at all. Like, it's just because I flat did not need that many pairs of jeans. Like, I was so overwhelmed one day that I just, like, I didn't buy anything because I was like, I don't even know, like, I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many options. Like, I'm not used to this. That to me was just overwhelming. Like, I wore my first bikini to the pool this summer, and it was like the old me. Like, I have never done that.
So I'm gonna spring a question on you. Something that you told me a couple weeks ago. You said sometimes it's hard to come work out when you don't totally hate how you look.
Yes. And that's exactly right. I mean, so I booked my third surgery. I did get scar revision on both my arms and my hip, and I did get the girls. One of the things when you're big, normally the first thing that women lose are their girls, and
Boobs. They're
their
called
boobs.
boobs.
Well,
Jeez.
Yeah.
girls. You don't.
That's why I call it at work when I'm trying to put like EKG tabs on older women who don't wear bras. I'm like, can you lift up your left girl for me so I can put stuff on there? And they're like, oh yeah. So, but anyways, so I did get those done, but I did have some recovery time after that as well with the 6 weeks and things like that. But so looking back, this 3 surgeries, 3 recoveries over a year, you're down for a long time. I am nowhere near the fitness. I shouldn't say nowhere, but the day that I went into my surgery, I was like in the best shape of my life. Now, I've gained a little bit of weight, not much, but I have some. I have my eating is now back on track, but like my workouts and things like that, they're not as good as they were. So when you're trying to look in the mirror, in the past, my motivation was fueled by not liking myself in the mirror, not liking what I was looking at. And I'd look in the mirror and I'm like, I love the way that I look. Like, this is,
good.
I'm not sounding like trying to say like,
I'm good.
like, but in my head,
Mama,
it's like,
we made it.
yeah, but in my head, it's like, okay, I know I can do better. I know I can be healthier. I have to get back to that point in my life, not necessarily going every day to the gym, but I need to get back into eating healthier. I need to get back into, I want to be able to do all the things that I was doing before my first surgery. But I have a little bit of, I'm starting to get there. It's just, it's a lot of recovery.
Your workouts have picked up here recently,
Yes.
the frequency and the intensity.
Yes. So I have really been trying to, focus on that. But, it is hard. You have to find that motive. Okay, so my motivation now is knowing that I can do better and knowing that I need to be healthier and I can do it. So.
And you can easily slip back into
Oh,
old
yeah.
habits.
1,000%.
That's our comfort zone is our old habits. And it's easy to slip back into our comfort zone.
Comfort kills.
Comfort kills. Yep, absolutely. David Goggins says the comfort zone is where dreams go to die.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So now you started off going to HIIT for the first time. Now you are a stand-in instructor for it. Mm-hmm. You make the HIIT workouts.
Has damn 100 stickers on the wall. Has woman of the night.
Has her own playlist. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
times have definitely changed.
Yes.
And we take very much. There's a lot of classes here at the gym, a lot of fitness classes. The HIIT workout
Is a cult. No, just kidding.
I think every one of us that have been there for a long time, Haley, Jeff, Sammy, Corey, Shane, some others take great pride in the fact that we have never canceled a HIIT workout.
Yeah.
Not on Christmas, not on Thanksgiving. Never have we ever thunderstorm, snowstorm,
No
doesn't matter.
power in the gym.
We're having it. We're going to have it. And I have not been there every time. So how do I do that? People like Haley, it is kind of a rite of passage, really. A lot of people will come, and then after a certain amount of time, if I know that I'm not going to be able to be there, I'll just get a hold of them and say, "Well," and no one's ever told me no.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's kind of exciting, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
You get
You're
to
responsible.
inflict your torture.
Yeah,
you're
except for like
responsible
me,
for-
like the first I don't know how many times I did it, my phone would like screw up and like the timer wouldn't go off or like the music would stop, and it was a learning curve, but we got it figured out.
It's like
but
hosting a bad party.
yeah.
The DJ skips the. Oh, geez.
My bad.
They all look at you.
But, one of the things that I failed to mention was when I first started coming after like with my first recovery, I think a little bit before I had my first surgery, actually, my oldest son, Zach, came with me. And, like you talked about at the beginning, like he had a lot of, he was a bigger kid too. I seen a lot of myself in him. Kids are still mean. He was getting not necessarily bullied all the time, but people made fun of him because he was on the bigger side. Mm-hmm. And, he asked if he could go with me. He started watching what he was eating he wasn't restricting himself or anything, but he was trying to like count macros and, focus on protein and, trying to watch what he ate. And he ended up losing, I don't know how much weight. It doesn't really matter, but he ended up looking, he looks.
He's
incredibly
got taller.
Yeah, he got taller.
He may
which
not,
helps.
even if he didn't lose any weight, he got taller. He's definitely leaner.
Yes, he's
definitely
been lifting.
Stronger.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's more confident in himself.
I'll tell you what,
his self-esteem is so much better than what it was.
He has really been inspired by the gym, which makes me very, very happy. He's done a couple of school projects.
Yeah.
That he filmed a commercial for the gym as a school project.
Yeah.
He recently redid the logo as a school project, and he's all in.
Yeah.
We've had him come in. Like the week I was gone to my sister's deal, he came in and helped out with the chores and
yeah, he'll scrub a toilet, man. Like he won't do it at home, but Chad pays him, and he's like, "I'll do it."
Jack is all in for the gym, man. I love that kid.
But there was one day that we were on our way to the gym, and he turned to me and he goes, "Thank you." I'm like, "For what?" And he's like, "Thank you for going to the gym." And
That's
like
heavy.
It really fucking hit me. And he's like, if you would have never gone to the gym or started any of this, I don't know where I'd be today. And like you don't realize how much you influence your kids. Like I never tried to let my unhappiness show. I have boys. I don't have little girls. They don't hear me say I'm unhealthy. Unhappy with my body or anything. I can't look at you, Chad. And
you just brought me back to something that happened to me one time. So
it's just, they always say like your kids need a happy mom. I didn't ever feel like I was that unhappy where it was showing through to my kids. But, to know that like, I'm happy, I'm more confident, and my child now is totally changed his life around because of it. And he is more happy, he's more confident, he's more healthy.
Early on.
Early in life.
I think a couple of things. Number one, I want to tell you guys what you made me think of that just hit me pretty hard. And the second thing is we need to get a box of Kleenexes for this show. I need them because I'm a crybaby and I don't care. I'm very proud of the fact that I show my emotions and there's nothing wrong with that.
And my anxiety medication inhibits me from crying a lot, or I'd be the same way.
I wear my feelings on my sleeve, but that brought me back to a moment. Miles was just a young child. He was probably 6-7 years old, and I was probably 300 pounds of goo. It wasn't pretty.
It wasn't the good 300
not
pounds.
Not the good 3. I don't know if there is a good 300.
The
but
muscle,
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was 300 pounds of goo. And Miles, I believe, has always looked up to me. He might see this and think, I don't know what got me. But, a young boy always looks up to his dad, and we're driving down the road. And I remember we were not too far from the gym. Had nothing to do with the gym because the gym was not on my mind. Fitness was not on my mind. It was, I was in my pity party era. And he says to me, we had been to the school. My job had taken us to the school for fire prevention week. and he said, one of the girls in my class said something about you. And I said, what'd she say? And he just started crying, and he said, she said you're fat. And, that I was strong for my son. And I was like, it doesn't matter what other people think about me, It hurt.
Yeah.
Hurt. And he probably doesn't even remember that because he was just such a young child. But I remember it vividly. So when you shared that about Zach, it made me think about, Miles is fit. I mean, he has never spent a day of his life unfit. He's 21 and he's strong for his weight, and he's
I have a kid like that.
fast and
Yeah.
and oh man, and her son Rhett,
It's like
Yeah.
spitting image of
8-year-old
Miles. Yeah. I
Miles.
mean, they act alike. They, a lot. Me and Julie will watch Rhett and listen to him talk, and we'll just look at each other because we're looking at each other with this, like spouses do. We look at each other like that's. We don't even have to say it. That's Miles. So anyway, what would you say to someone who is listening, who is thinking about, like, what are the points that you want them to know?
What is your
coming to the
message?
gym.
So my message is, if you were wanting to start, okay, so you have these things that you want to do in life. Make a list of these things, like goals, like the things that you want to accomplish in your life, whether or not you die tomorrow or you die 50 years from now. I want you to look at your life. If it does not align with those goals that you want to achieve, you have two choices. You either say at the end of your life, it wasn't a priority and accept it, or two, make a change. And that's what I did, was I made a change because I didn't want to accept the fact that I had time and resources to do the things that I wanted to do.
So this journey has been 4 years.
Well, I would say it started when I turned 30. Really, I didn't really take it seriously up until like 2021. So, yeah.
So we've been here for the majority of the weight loss. We've been here for all of the surgeries.
You guys have seen it all.
We've been here. We've cried together.
Yep.
We've definitely laughed together. Haley is now part of the family. Consistency is the key.
Yes. Definitely.
And you can fall off, but you can get back on.
Yeah, I've had several setbacks over the last year with my recoveries and not being able to get here, but I'm making the comeback. I'm not choosing to. I've told a lot of people, I probably gained like 10 pounds or so, and I'm gonna lose. I'm going to get back. Failure is not an option. That's just how it is.
It's awesome.
Yep, I love it.
So it makes me think about Haley talking about her challenges in life. I've talked about my challenges many times, and yours with the your sobriety and spending years in prison and living that kind of life. Those were your setbacks.
Yeah.
And you've said before that you feel like you're starting later in life. Right?
For sure. Yeah. I have like an opposite challenge that I've recently discovered. Like from being institutionalized or from whatever the way my life is set now, like the gym was my escape in there, my safe place in there. And now that I'm here and I've had this success and stuff like that, and the gym is such a big part of my life, like my challenge is like I don't know who I am outside of here.
Mm-hmm.
When I leave here, I don't do anything but watch TV and lay horizontally until I come here again. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's it. I
Yeah, you-
literally don't have.
You sent me a message the other day that said, your idea of happiness now is watching me work on something, eating fast food with us, and chilling at the gym.
Sitting at the desk talking
that
shit.
that you bring.
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But so that's what I'm just starting to. I'm realizing that the gym is all I really am right now. So I got to find out maybe get a hobby or
Yeah.
something. You know.
Find things in your life that are gonna fulfill you.
Yeah.
Well, Haley, do you have anything else you want to add, or
I mean, I don't necessarily right now. I mean, I'm pretty much an open book. I mean, if anybody would like, I've had people say, you know, like, how do you do this? How do you do that? Like, how do you get started? Like, I've had thousands of those conversations, and I mean,
gym rats love talking about gym rat stuff?
basically,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to, any of us, any of the people that have been on here before, walk up and talk to us. If you have questions, walk up and ask us.
Yeah, I think it's like a thing. So if you've been on the podcast before, a guest, you're now.
Yeah, now
you have to
forever,
speak
yeah.
if you're spoken to. Like,
Yeah.
you better not cold shoulder anybody.
I want to personally thank you for coming on here because I know your anxiety was getting the best of you.
You did good.
It was.
It's not been what you thought it would be, right? You've been comfortable.
Yeah, no, it was cool.
I feel like you got everything out there. Like, I mean, I'm proud of everything that you've accomplished.
Thanks.
I'm proud to have been part of it, to be there to witness it. I'm happy that you're one of my best friends, and I look forward to the future of seeing where you take this next. And I just really appreciate you being here. So,
Thanks.
Yep.
any parting words, Otto?
No, you did good.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, this is episode 10. We'll see you guys next week. Maybe something a little different. We'll see. Got questions? Send them. Other than that, peace.
Bye.